Hi, everyone. Today, I want to talk about how this constant being cast aside by narcissists and being ignored and alone too often affects our lives and the lives of others. We'll talk about the day to day things that we shrug off that should never be shrugged off, and some examples of what you go through and how normal looks in healthy relationships. And I'll end it with giving you a little gold nugget that you can use as a starting point to your healing. So, on that note, we begin. As a child, you were ignored, rejected, made to feel that you weren't important, that you didn't matter somehow, and today you believe it. Deep down. Not here, but in your being, you believe it, in your subconscious mind. And now you have this person in your life now mirroring that back to you. And when they mirror that back to you time and time again, eventually you become numb. You paralyze. In life, you become paralyzed, the freeze response. You become trapped, unable to move forward in your life. And a part of you stops the resistance of always being pushed and argued with, and you go numb. The constant emotional turmoil, all the drama, and never being able to find your way out just becomes too much. It's too hard. And so you begin to settle in and take the breadcrumbs as they come. You give up. And then you become grateful when these crumbs come. It's like a sigh of relief. But as you get older, year after year, and you start to notice the wear and tear of your body, the wrinkles, the dark circles under your eyes, the headaches, the back pains from feeling unsupported, there's a part of you that begins to feel desperate and almost panicked because time is slipping by. As Wayne Dyer used to say, you don't want to die with your music still in you. So you begin to see the emergence of needing to do something, even though you don't know what that something is. You just know that you have to do something or you won't survive. So where do you start? You can start where you are right now, here and now. Start paying attention to what's going on a deeper level. So let's look deeper still. Of course, you know what's going on. You're being abused verbally, emotionally, some of you physically, and some of you financially. You've been manipulated, you've been gaslighted, word saladed, and that's the overall. But what about the other times where you're not being yelled at or shamed or put down? The days where he or she is calm and there is no drama, the good days. Let's take a look at those good days. Let's look at the parts that we shrug off most of the time, the day-to-day little things. So let's say that you've made him a special dinner. And by the way, I might say he more frequently than she. That's just habit. That's just because most of the people that I've worked with personally have been and still are female. So it couldn't be he or it could be she. But for the story, we'll say he. So getting back to dinner. You've worked hard all day preparing for this dinner. You've cleaned the house and made everything feel cozy, warm, and peaceful. And in your busyness, you may even had to do a grocery run to pick up some of the missing items for this dinner that you want to make. So finally, after a full day of running to make this special dinner for them, and of course you're doing it for you also because you're trying to connect with them, which is normal. So then he walks in and says, "Smells good in here." Looks in the kitchen and says, "Aw, you made my favorite. That's so nice. You're so sweet." Goes to the coffee maker, makes himself a cup of coffee, and then heads up to his office and stays there until you call him out for dinner. Dinner's ready. You call him out. He grabs the remote and turns on the TV and watches whatever is on until he's finished his plate. Once he's done, he'll go back to the kitchen, make more coffee. He might even make one for you and bring it to you. But then he'll head back to his office where he's going to remain for the rest of the night. And like I said, he or she. And you're left feeling off. You're not really sure how to feel. So what just happened here? Well, what happened is you were just shown how little you mattered to this person. The food mattered, but you didn't. You just were not important enough to him or her to even stay and have a cup of coffee with them. Think about that. You just spent hours doing something for them because you thought that they were worth it. and you were not even worth even an hour, even a half hour of their time. How does that make you feel? And I'm guessing not so good, right? And I'm guessing it's a familiar feeling also, because they're mirroring back to you how you were made to feel as a child, that you don't matter and you aren't enough. And that further traumatizes you because they've now reinforced the false belief that you had about yourself. And that's how you've attracted them in the first place, because of that inner belief, I am not enough. So now what? Cognitive dissonance here. You feel it isn't really kosher what they just did, but at the same time, they weren't mean to you or anything. They were actually being pleasant in their mood. Well, newsflash, that was rude. That was inconsiderate. But you didn't see it because it was done covertly. You worked all day to do something special to make them happy, and now all that hard work has left you with a pile of dishes to contend with, pots and pans to scrub, garbage just to take out, and floors to sweep. And when that's done, you return to your room for the night alone. A part of you has had some time to process that a bit, and you might be thinking, I should say something. But that thought gets brushed off because you know that if you do complain to them, they'll just say something like, I never asked you to do that for me. And who wants to hear those words like that? That would be too painful to hear. And so you shrug it off and take the crumbs. No one asked you how your day went or what your plans were for tomorrow. No one took interest. You were completely dismissed, disrespected, and that is abusive. Every human being on this earth needs love to survive. That is normal. These are not things to shrug off. These are not little things. These are huge things, and you deserve to be treated with dignity. A normal, loving situation would have been that he or she walks through the door, puts their stuff away, especially when they see a spotless house, because it's obvious how hard you worked. Anyway, they would have walked over to you, perhaps given you a little kiss to greet you and say something like, how was your day, honey? You know, maybe even giving you a big smile or hug just because they're happy to see you. They would have sat with you over dinner and want to know the details of your day and also about sharing theirs without bragging. They might even go over some plans with you, be it a project that you guys are trying to accomplish or weekend plans I mean, sure, couples don't need to be like that every single night. We're human. We have our good days or bad days, and sometimes we need our space. That's normal. But alone all the time, that isn't normal. And it is not fair. The thing is, though, is with a narcissist, you don't want to say anything about that because it's just going to turn into yet another fight. You'll end up slaughtered and called names and yelled at and threatened, and you'll be punished for days, sometimes even weeks. So like I said a while ago, which one do you choose? Most likely you're going to choose to bottle it up and try to deal as best you can. And that's how they control you. Better take those cookie crumbs and shrug it off if you want peace this week. Find something to occupy yourself with for the night. And it gets worse because on top of not spending any time with you, that chore or that project that they were supposed to take care of like 2 weeks ago, like say the plumbing that you've been needing fixed and you've been waiting and hoping every night that they'll fix it, but you're too scared to ask when they'll get on it. Well, again, tonight they didn't bother, even after you made them a beautiful dinner. It's a double whammy because it's being demonstrated to you the depth of how insignificant you are to them. If it's important to you, it isn't important. You here being the light that you are, a kind person, a considerate person, a loving person, and that feeling of joy that you feel when you can do something to brighten someone's day, to put a smile on a face, you get your light taken away. Someone has taken your light. And that good feeling that you felt all day has now been turned into a cold, empty darkness because you were excited all day making plans for this dinner so that you could have some connection. So You end up turning on your Netflix and try to push away that awful feeling that's tugging at you, trying to make the best of it. But you know deep down that that's denial. That is numbing the pain. But you're in freeze response. You're stuck. You don't know what else to do. But the thing is, though, is that light of yours is so important. It's that light that makes you want to make others happy. When we're doing things to make others happy, it's an expression of love, because seeing a big smile on someone else's face makes us happy in return. We are all connected, except with the narcissist. We're not connected with them. We're trying to. But the thing is when that expression gets taken away time and time again, we end up losing our sense of self. And that's a big deal. Now, what's actually happening, and I only mean this happens on an unconscious level, but what's happening to us is we've chosen the dark. And I repeat, unwillingly. Take heart, though, because if you are here online watching videos like this or reading up on narcissistic abuse, you are looking to take your light back, and you will. Now, the reason I'm telling you all of this, not to discourage you, is it's merely because I want you to really be aware of what's happening, because the more aware you become, the more you realize, the more awakened you become. And the more awakened you are, the more empowered you become. And you are powerful. Narcissists don't choose weak people. They choose powerful people. That's where they're going to get their energy, from powerful people. Another thing that losing our light does is it affects others in the world. When you were the light, you raised up others just by being you. When you were the light, you were more available to gather with friends, spread laughter, and put smiles on their faces. You were able to give them hope on days that they needed it. You were able to be of service. When you were the light, you smiled at a stranger or gave them a compliment, which could have made a huge impact on someone who perhaps might be feeling unloved at a point in their life. And maybe you changed that a little bit by acknowledging someone who might have been feeling invisible. When you were the light, you charged forward, and that energy raised everyone in your field. So how can you get that light back? How can you start? Where do you start? Well, one of the things that really helped me was the serenity prayer, which I still use to this day for all kinds of areas in my life. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Pick those sentences apart and see how much they make sense. They cover everything, really. And this prayer, it was huge for me. I said it in the morning. I said it in the shower. I said it every time my narc threw me off my game again. All of you out there who are struggling with this abuse, be it mental, physical, emotional, financial, be willing to change. Start there. You don't have to have all the answers or even any at all. And tomorrow might not be the day that you're ready to walk away. But just start there. There is so much power in that affirmation. It's from Louise Hayes. Sometimes people will tell you to do affirmations like, all is well in my world, or I am now living an amazing life. And you're thinking, hell no, all is not well in my life. I'm broke. I'm scared. I've no faith left. So sometimes some of those affirmations just won't work and may even further discourage you. All is not well here. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do or where to turn. The critical factor between the conscious and the unconscious just will not let that in. So if that's happening to you, I'd like for you to start with the Louise Hay affirmation. I am willing to change. Really powerful. I am willing to change means that you are willing. Although you don't know what to do, you are willing to give up some control and give some of it to God or higher self or the universe, whichever term you prefer. You're willing to have things change in your life. I am willing. As soon as you have that intent or being willing, the matrix conspires with that energy and things start to gently shift. Repeat it over and over as you go about your day. It doesn't cost anything, right? You start getting new perspectives on things. You might start getting new ideas or understandings where you see things in a clearer perspective regarding self, others, or your situations. But whatever the case, it begins to move you forward. I am willing to change. Say it. Say it often. And when you're going through something hard in your day, say it again and again. And don't forget to take a big, deep breath when you say it. A few breaths. Because those deep breaths change the cortisol levels in your brain. So big breath, hold, and exhale. I am willing to change. Big breath again, hold. I am willing to change. I hope that was helpful for those out there who needed to hear this today. And for those who embark on this I am willing to change journey, leave a comment down below to tell others of your experience with it. We're all here to help one another. And if you like this video, please click like, as this helps get the word out there. If you're benefiting from this video or these videos that I'm creating, please subscribe. So ciao for now, and remember to be the light.